We are live now. You can start.
Okay, thank you so much. So before I start introducing myself, I will let you know the session guidelines for everyone to turn off their microphone unless please turn off your microphone unless you're speaking. Thank you, appreciate it. So my name is Bezelo Tapebe. I'm delighted to co-moderate this YLF meeting, the Year Virtual Summit 2025, alongside my amazing co-moderator, Anu. I promise you we are going to learn, connect, and maybe even laugh a little bit. So, and it's truly joy to see all of you here today, use leaders, partners, friends from across Africa and beyond. Thank you for joining us. We're close the year with the powerful conversation, bold ideas, maybe a little bit Wi-Fi battle here, there. If anyone disappear from the screen, we assume your network is reflecting also on youth leadership. So uh, to continue, let me go back to the session guidelines. So for the speakers, each speaker has a 15-minute for their presentation. Please stay within your allocated time, and I will give you 3-minute reminder before your time ends. And for the participant, at the end of each presentation, participant who have a question may raise their hand digitally. My co-coordinator, my co-moderator, and I will call on a participant in orders. So, Anu, are you there? You can continue by introducing yourself.
Yes, I am. Good day to everyone. My name is Anu Luakpo Aribi. I am the programs coordinator of Man Mendes Alliance, and I will be co-moderating this session with Betselet here. Thank you, Betselet.
Hey, thank you so much, Anu. So allow me to officially open today's summit by welcoming all participants, speakers, and partners joining us from across Africa and beyond. Thank you for your time to be with us, whether you're turning from your office, your home, or pretending to be in a middle, like actually eating breakfast or your dinner. So thank you for joining us from different country and a time zone. We appreciate it. We would like to say we appreciate it. So Anu, can you continue? Anu, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Betselet. So we also want to appreciate our partners who consistently support our mission of building value-driven African leaders. And these are Malkia Africa Network, Uganda. We want to say thank you to Man Mendes Alliance, Ghana. We want to say thank you to Dear Young Leaders Community, Nigeria. We want to say thank you to Star Swahili Learning Center, Uganda. And we want to say thank you to JA Technology, LLC, USA. Thank you for partnering with AYLF. So to officially set the tone for today, we'll be moving on to invite the co-founder of AYLF, Mr. Alfred Kwasi Day, to give us a brief introduction. Sir, the floor is yours.
Mr. Alfred, are you there?
Yes, I am, and thank you very much for your time. It's a pleasure to be here. And that was a great introduction. Anowolo Wapo Ayiripi. It's butcher for butcher. As you butcher my name, I butcher yours. I mean, it's just a friendly butchering of names. And also to you, Betsalot, thank you very much to both of you for the introduction. So my name is Alfred Elide. I'm the co-founder of the African Young Leaders Foundation, and it's a pleasure to be here today and to officially open the conversation and to also officially open this year's conference. It's one that is at the heart of our hearts at the African Young Leaders Foundation. And over the period of time, we've been able to engage conversations that has shaped policies, conversations that have shaped the future of the African voices. And today is not just any conversation, it is also a continuation and also a culmination of that very thing that started and birthed this foundation. And so we are looking forward to an engagement from you, the audience, as well, to engage the speakers, because these are well thought through speakers who are going to provide value for the growth and the impact of our continent. The African Young Leaders Foundation, like I said, is building an ecosystem where we can create impact and also imbibe ethical leadership across the continent. Among other things, also empowering young Africans to be agents of change across the continent. Over the period of time since our inception, we've been able to organize and spearhead some events, even with the African Union, with the United Nations, among other very important organizations and stakeholders. It is also for this reason that today we are not taking for granted our partners, as our co-moderator has um, 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 rightly acknowledged. And so, as we open this conversation, it is my prayer and it is my fervent hope that each and every one of you would join the conversation with open mind, with open heart, and take note where necessary. And do not just be listeners of the conversation, do not just be partakers of the summit, but be active players in the change that you want to see. Do not just talk about the change, don't just have a conversation around the change, but be part of this change. And that is how we are going to be able to change the Africa we want to see. It's possible that hundreds of you may join this conversation, but the change may just be effected by 5 people. And I'm challenging each and every one of you on this call to be that 5 people, to be part of that 5 people who are going to change the systems of this world. And so I'm looking forward to interacting with you after the 2-day session. I cannot wait for us to engage beyond the conversation here. And I am thanking you all, and I wish you all the very best in this as we unveil the end of year summit. Please do imbibe it and finish well. And please, to everyone who is joining the call, be very humble enough to mute when you are not talking, just so that you don't interrupt our speakers when they engage in us. And so please, we entreat each and every one of us here on the call to be respectful. Please take your questions. Please contribute actively, and I'm looking forward to engaging each and every one of you. Let's connect via social media. African Young Leaders Foundation on LinkedIn, on Instagram. Spread the word, share the link, let your friends also join the conversation, and let's build the Africa we want, because the Africa we want cannot be built by foreigners, by foreign aid, but it shall be built by the over 60% of Africa's population, which is you and I on this call today. So thank you very much. And I'm looking forward to the conversation myself, and I'm going to be participating myself, and I'm looking forward to taking a lot from this conversation. So thank you very much. And I hand over the mic back to our moderators.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Alfred. You speak with such clarity and energy that even Zoom feels motivated right now. Thank you so much. So now we're moving into our main session. We have a powerful lineup of speakers today, so powerful that if inspiration was electricity, Africa wouldn't need any new power plant. So let me begin with our keynote speaker, Amanu Maxwell. Manu Maxwell is a development economist and a youth empowerment strategist and education advocate. He is dedicated to empowering young people to become active agent of positive change through advancing access to equality, education, and championing youth partnership in public life. So, Manu, are you there? The stage is over to you. You have a 15 minutes.
Thank you so much, moderator, indeed, and Alfred for opening up the floor and telling the those joining us to have an open mind, because I myself came in an open mind. So good afternoon to the organizing committee, the team from African Young Leaders Foundation and all the partners, the distinguished young leaders joining us here, and to all the fellow young people from across the continent, including those in the diaspora that are part of this conversation and part of building Africa. It's truly an honor for me to be here with you today, because we are gathering in a very important theme that speaks directly to the heart of Africa's future. The theme of Beyond Rhetoric, empowering African youth for real change. So it is the theme for me, which I find not only like timely, but I do find it actually very urgent for us to progress to real change, because for far too long, our continent has mastered the art of talking about change, and yet we see how we have struggled over time to fully step into the discipline and the discomfort of making that change. So I want us to move today as well, to add my voice to Alfred, that let's move from the inspiration and step into introspection of action. So my goal is today not only to give you all the answers you are looking for. My goal is basically to help you a little bit to think beyond the box. I want to leave you with more questions than you came from. If that would happen, I would have achieved my goal of this. I want to leave you with the kind of questions that would help you unlock the courage you have inside you and you didn't even know about it, to be able to take action and to be able to take the responsibility for us to take this continent forward. I think it is good that talking about questions, to start with the very core important question of the day that we should be all asking ourselves as we start this two-day summit. What does it actually take to make real impact? Because it is impact is not something that seems like so convenient. Otherwise, we should have made it all since long time. It is something that I find it demands us to invest some time into it. We have to do some sacrifices along the way. We have to invest some resources as well to get some sort of discomfort. And also, I think the most important of all, it is the willingness for us to outgrow ourselves as young people. So, and I think if you want to make an impact, the most important aspect begins with self-awareness. So before we try to change others, change the community, change the country, change the world, I think the most important thing for us young people is to understand the power in dynamics inside of yourself. What power do you already have to be able to make change, to be able to make impact? Do you even recognize that you have the potential to do so in the first place? Because talking about empowerment is something that sounds so abstract, but at the very core of it all, empowerment is not something the government is going to give to you, over to you like, in a silver plate. It's not something like it gets donated to you of some sort, not something like a certificate you have to carry. For me, I find empowerment begins exactly at that moment when we do realize that, oh, actually, deep inside me, I do already have something I can use to start something. Your mind, your network, your story, your skills, your curiosity to be able to explore what you don't know, and your courage above all. So this for me is where the power lives. And of course, to make impact is also for us to be able to ask ourselves another question of the night, of the evening, that which kind of impact do you want to make? Impact is such a big word that once you don't break it down, it loses meaning along the way. It sounds more abstract than real. Impact is not something very accidental. It is something we should be intentional about because it is something that is shaped by the people we surround ourselves with, the places we choose to live in, the work you dedicate yourself to doing, or even not surprisingly, the kind of partner you choose to live with. All these things determine which kind of impact you will make. So the future impact is influenced by the kind of company we invest, we surround ourselves with. And I'm very glad that we are actually closing the year by trying to make coalition and surrounding ourselves here with a company of willing doers, willing actors, leaders of African continent. So you must also decide that even when you want to make an impact, but where can you make the most impact? Because at the end of the day, we want to make the most out of everything we do. In which sector, for example, would you want to make impact in? Which community would you want your impact to be felt in? Which kind of problem would you like to address? And I think the most understated one of it is which kind of opportunities are you willing or looking towards seizing to be able to make this impact happen? Because African problems are so many as they seem, but the positive side of it is that it is also the possibilities are so many as much as the challenges we have. You find yourself that in every single day, when we work in our communities, there is always an opportunity for someone to step up. And we make these unconscious choices of either joining the solution or being the part of the ones that are waiting for the problem to grow, and most of the times growing to an extent that it becomes almost impossible to find a solution, at least not in a very short time. So I want us to touch upon something very tender, our way of life, because when you want to make impact, it's also something connected with our way of life. Something like culture itself, like our whole life seems to be built on culture. For example, the food that we eat, how and what we dress on, the houses we build and live in, the languages we speak, and also the music we compose and listen to or dance as the continent, but also how we nourish our spiritual well-being. This is all ways of our life, which at the end of the day is aggregated, and many others, of course, aggregated as a culture. So as you can already see from the sound, culture is something really beautiful. It's something that gives us identity, as a continent. But it is also that something that it should be able to serve us, to give us meaning and to serve life. But how many of you actually have taken some time to think about where some of the cultures you embrace and celebrate come from? Who has ever taken time to try to analyze some of the traditional practices that we do, if they still make sense for our time, the 21st century, or not? Why is this important? It helps us to assess the relevance of all this, what we do, that we spend our time on and our day and our resources and sometimes even money, and yet it's not helping us achieve our development goals of today or solving the challenges of today. Culture should be something that, enriches us, but not steal the dreams away from us and suffocate our dreams. When culture becomes a barrier to innovation, to youth leadership, to women's progress, to thinking, and I mean here critical thinking, then culture must evolve. Because it is safe, I think, for me to say that our ancestors adapted culture for their time, during their time. So I think it's our responsibility also to adapt our cultures to be able to fulfill our life of today. Tradition should be in the very first place a foundation of our well-being and never a prison itself.
Somebody from his side tell me.
Let me let this sink in a little bit for a moment, that our roots should actually strengthen us and never imprison us in that way. So take time to take a reflection on some of those and try. You'll be surprised how some of the things you cherish are actually taking away from us than giving us, to take us forward. But let's talk about something else, probably much more interesting, much more exciting. Let's talk about money. Money. I think for me, it sounds exciting, and I hope as you as well, it is something that almost every human being strives to work towards too. And so it's important when we talk about impact also to touch upon this. I will not, of course, pretend here that we don't need the money. Money is very important. It actually matters to help us accelerate the impact we want to get. But how many of you are tempted to think that you need money to be able to make impact? That without money, you can't be able to make any impact at all? Because that is something you should ask yourself, is it really true or not? And I think it is important for us to know that money is not the starting point here when you want to make an impact. Many of us use lack of money as an excuse to be able to make change, yet in reality, it's not. What we actually lack is an initiative to be able to do something. We do not lack the discipline. We lack the discipline to be able to see it work to something and stay and see it come to life. We don't have the creativity to be able to innovate, come out of the bubble and build something different. And I think the key is that we don't have the courage to start small. We want to start big already from today. Our generation, anyway, it is that kind of temptation to be able to be lost in that belief. So I want you to decode some of this to be able to think, is that really the money problem or it is other problems? Again, I started with saying I will give you more questions than answers. So it is reflection when you want to make an impact and we want to make change to the continent. Because most of the impact we will make in Africa will begin with small actions. Small things you do, like helping someone or cleaning your neighborhood.
Sorry, Maxwell.
Yes.
Sorry for interrupting you. You have 3 minutes remaining, so please begin to wrapping up your key points. Thank you so much.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah, so and then I was talking about that most of the impact starts small, and then later we can accelerate it to grow. So ask yourself, at what level of impact are you now, and where are you heading? And make a reflection of that, because that is help you to find alliances, partners, resources, and skills, all you need to be able to take our continent forward. And of course, to make impact also, it's important to make this reflect, because how less money you have, should be how more creative you have to be if you want to reach something. That is the key here. And what does it take to be creative in the first place? You need to think about all these things. You need to have the ability to think actually critically, to be able to see between the lines what is missing outside of the box. Because the biggest challenges Africa is facing is not a lack of intelligence. We have brilliant minds. You can attest to this. What we lack is lack of critical thinking. Most of the times we are told to memorize things, to obey just, the elders know it all. But I mean, to be honest, do they really do? They know a lot, but if they knew everything, we wouldn't be grappling with all the problems we have today. So we are only told to repeat and never to question, not to disrupt the system, and not to rethink. And this is all dangerous precedent we are setting ourselves to, and it will not take us much better forward. So we have to learn to start asking critical questions, because once we don't, we start to accept the poor leadership we see. We start to accept corruption as bad as we know it is. We accept the systems that have failed us already and not taking us anywhere. And I think the worst enemy is that we accept being spectators of our destiny and never taking responsibility. I find like absence of critical thinking as a birthplace of chaos, conflicts. We see frustration among young people, pushing them out of the continent to migrate, and violence, both domestic and other forms of violence we see around. So when young people are not taught to think, they become easy to manipulate and recruited into some of these criminal networks. So if we are really serious about making real impact as this congregation, we must learn how to ask critical questions. Why do we do things this way? Who benefits from our action, for example? What is missing in the equation that I should fill in to be able to make impact? What possibilities are available out there other than what I already know? And what is my responsibility to make this happen? Because this curiosity creates creativity. The creativity that comes out of it produces innovation. And the innovation is now the ones that helps us to solve the problems we have. So how do you get creative? Answer is pretty simple. Practice, practice, practice. But it's not that simple as it sounds. You need to create time for yourself to be able to think and think critically and outside what you're already comfortable with. So it is like we see that Africa has been grappling with same issues for decades in the continent: extreme poverty, debt, weak infrastructure, conflicts, governance failures, and now the new threats of climate disasters. And so let me ask you that, do you truly believe that we can solve these challenges with the same mindset and the same habits, that the same leadership style that created and sustained them to date? Really, ask yourself that question, because one of the famous people you probably know, Albert Einstein, is often credited with the saying that insanity is
Amanu,
doing the same thing over and over
Amanu,
again and
can you hear me?
expecting different
Max,
results. Yes.
I think your time is done now. I told you to conclude it on 3
May I
minutes.
have 2 minutes, please? Is that okay?
I already gave you 2 minute additional time. I was waiting for you to conclude it on your time, but our remaining speaker is also waiting to begin on their time. So let me give you 1 minute. Try to conclude it on.
Yeah, okay. So as I was saying that we have been given opportunity to have 3 industrial revolutions to be able to take advantage of to change our course. We did not fully use it to benefit us and take advantage of it. I think we should ask ourselves why. Why did this happen? Why haven't we been able to take advantage of this? Because today we are again faced with another 4th industrial revolution, the era of artificial intelligence. And with Africa being the youngest, having the youngest population on Earth, we should ask ourselves that we are going to allow again this revolution to pass us by and not take advantage of it, because some of you are waiting for permission to learn and still fear AI instead of jumping into the revolution. Because I think we must, somehow trying to wait the world to slow down on us. The world will not slow down on Africa. So Africa cannot keep blaming history while refusing to prepare for the future. We must take this into our responsibility to do that. And for you to do that, you need to become AI literate. So I want to give you my final message is that as you go out of this place, I request all of you to stop waiting and start building. Stop fearing and start learning. Stop repeating the same mistakes that have been done over and again and start rethinking now. Stop blaming and start leading the change in every daily choices we make, because impact is not a destination. It's like a lifestyle, and it's a responsibility we must take. Africa seems like it has a lot of problems, but it also has a lot of opportunities. And actually, the greatest opportunity Africa has ever had is you. It's us, the young people. If we embrace critical thinking, innovation, technology, culture that evolves, and ethical leadership rooted on integrity, then the next decade of Africa's story will not be written in despair, but in triumph. Because we are standing right now as a crossroads. One path leads us back to rhetoric, and the other one is leading us to real impact. So I challenge you today to choose impact, choose courage, choose responsibility, and most of all, choose Africa. Thank you. God bless you. May your journey of impact start today and not tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Max Amanu. So thank you so much for that powerful presentation or speech. We appreciate your insight, your energy, and wisdom that you shared with us. We have definitely taken notes. And also some of us mentally or some of us physically actually reflecting on it in life in the future. Either way, we learned a lot from you. Thank you so much. So it's time to move on to our guest speakers. So now I'm moving into our first speaker, Adua. Adua is a passionate leader and dedicated to empowering African youth as the communication and a PR team lead at the Minders Alliance. And she is the lead strategic communication initiative aimed at enhancing brand presence and fostering community engagement in her role as the international director for the information and protocol at the Federation of African Law Students. She plays a vital role in shaping strategic communication and strengthening the Federation global presence. She's speaking on a topic of accountability and youth leadership. So Adwa, we are excited to hear from you. The virtual stage is yours. You have a 15 minutes. The stage is yours. Are you there?
Hi. Can I be heard?
Hi, welcome. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much for your warm introduction. It's a pleasure to be here. Okay.
Who is not speaking, please turn off your speaker.
May I proceed?
Adrian, you can continue now.
Okay, thank you. So accountability is the bridge between promises and action. How do we turn the many promises of youth leadership into measurable and meaningful change? This leads directly to my topic, accountability in youth leadership, from promise to tangible change. What then is accountability? Accountability is bigger than the records, it's bigger than the reports, it's bigger than the meetings. Accountability is a culture, a way of showing up every day This means owning your actions, owning your promises, owning your decisions. As youth leaders, we don't just have to make commitments. We have to deliver on these commitments or these promises that we have made. It's not a matter of I will try, but it's a matter of I will, and then here's the proof. Then again, accountability goes beyond just showing up. It is a matter of integrity and transparency. What do I mean by this? Anyone can get up and talk about their plans, but integrity is what turns these plans into action. Many a times people come up with promises, many a times people come up with their plans, they talk about their plans, then it just goes down the drain. We don't see what they are up to, we do not see what they are going, where they are going to, or what they are doing. Then on the part of transparency, you have to share your progress and challenges during the project. When you make these plans, you have to share a progress report. You have to let your people know what you are up to. And by so doing, this builds some form of trust or credibility. It is a shared responsibility. Then the major point here is true accountability means allowing others to hold you accountable. Leadership isn't just about being the authority. Many a times people embrace themselves with the word a leader, but they do not show true leadership. What is the reason? They do not have people that hold them accountable for their actions, hold them accountable for what they are doing. Accountability is about staying connected with your people. If you find yourself in an organization and you head the organization, you should be able to build or form a relationship with your members. Once you form this relationship with them, there should be an ease or an opportunity for them to correct you when you are going wrong or you're going on the wrong direction. Transparency, again, builds trust and credibility as a youth leader. Why this topic matters. So we all know that there are many youth initiatives, and these youth initiatives start strong. We start off with vibrance, we start off with energy, but then many years to come or a few months later, these organizations collapse. And why is that so? Youth leaders tend to make promises, but these promises are not kept. And that is where the problem is. Once you've made the promise, you have to execute these promises, because if you fail to do so, it creates a trust deficit. And then once the trust is gone, the community switches on you. So when you are actually ready to execute these plans or promises and you go back to them to present your plans to them, they may not give you a listening ear. And the reason is that you may have failed to fulfill your previous promise. And what's the assurance that this new promise that you have put before them is going to be executed? So our word must mean something. We must say what we do as youth leaders. That is where we build a trust. That is where people are going to believe what we have to say. Also, we can attest to the fact that presently, youth leadership is more visible. We find so many young people joining movement, advocating for what is right, speaking on social matters, trying to make societal change, trying to make the world a better place, not just for themselves, but for everyone. But then what is important is that visibility without accountability is just noise. You may put yourself out there, we are embarking on this project, we are going to do this, but then if there's no form of accountability, then it means nothing. You are doing absolutely nothing. This takes us to the point where we have to deliver. If we are not delivering these results, then our influence becomes very empty. There's nothing to show, there's nothing we are doing. People should listen to us, but then we do not deliver, which is a wrong move. Okay. It is also key to know that by 2030, Africa will have the world's largest youth population. And without accountability, we risk repeating the old story, which is corruption, abandoned projects, wasted opportunities. Many young leaders tend to criticize our government, our older leaders, in that they are not executing whatever promises they made during their election campaigns. But then looking at what we also do as young leaders, we also make these promises and do not execute them. So what I have to say is that, yes, we do have the numbers, we have the energy, we have the movement, but without accountability, we go nowhere with this. When we are held accountable for whatever we have to do, we build a legacy, we build trust, and a future worth leaving behind. Now, let us move to what youth leaders must do to move from mere promise to tangible change. First, as youth leaders, we must set clear, simple, and measurable goals. What do I mean by this? You can't hold a youth leader accountable if we do not know what we are working towards. Therefore, I encourage that as young leaders or potential young leaders, we have to set clear, simple, and measurable goals. We don't have to put together maybe a 40-page strategy plan. We can just start by putting together a 3 to 6 month action plan showing what we are going to do. So maybe, for instance, you can put an action plan indicating that, oh, maybe in the first quarter, we are going to train 50 young people in digital skills. We are going to launch 2 or 3 community projects by the next quarter, or we are going to raise, for instance, 10,000 Ghana cedis for mentorship. You have to make these goals public. And why do I say so? If we make these goals public, we have it in mind that people are watching. We have made these promises. We have to fulfill these promises. And this is going to hold us accountable to whatever promise that we have made. So I'll entreat young leaders to set clear, simple, and measurable goals, because if accountability is a journey, clarity is the map. Next is transparency. Transparency isn't about exposing secrets. It's showing your work. You have to share your progress. You have to share your struggles. You have to share your wins and lessons. As we've developed earlier, that if we are able to be transparent, if we are able to let people see our process or see our progress, it's going to build some form of trust. They are going to trust us to handle their societies or to handle the communities very well. How do we do this? I'm going to share simple ways by which we can we can let the people see our processes. We can do regular or quarterly updates, and it can be done via WhatsApp, via social media. It's not anything that we have to think too hard. We have to find, maybe projected it on a billboard. We have simple tools. Life has become easier through social media. We can share via WhatsApp, we can share via LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, among other social media platforms. Then even saying that, oh, we plan to conduct 5 community projects. However, out of the 5, we've achieved 3, build some form of trust within our jurisdiction or our organizations. Next, I'm going to speak on execution. We often tend to, how should I say, do we visualize big projects? We want to start something big, something that is going to attract so many people, something that is going to put us out there. However, we forget that we can start small. We can start small. We can start with a small project. We can start by working with maybe a few numbers, because once we make big promises without delivery, it frustrates us young people. Real impact it starts from making small, consistent wins, not grand ideas that never happen. So you can start small by making delivering monthly reports. We can prioritize what the society needs over what they do not need. Then this is my favorite part: feedback. I think for young people, once we find ourselves in leadership roles, we tend to engulf ourselves with the title of being a leader. We engulf ourselves with the title of, yes, I am this person, I am that person. Then we tend to turn a listening or deaf ear to the people we are working with. We have to hold our accountable leaders listen. We may not know it all. Even people at the higher places, they tend to, how should I put it? They listen to their subordinates. You have to you have to give your colleagues the opportunity to walk up to you. If something is going wrong, they have to draw your attention to it so that we fix whatever problem that it is. Yes. Then lastly, I'm going to speak on mentorship and self-audits. No leader, and it's actually very true, no leader can hold themselves accountable. Even disciplined people drift without structure. So here are practical steps to hold yourself accountable. You have to get yourself a mentor or accountability partner. You have to get someone who can look you into the eye and tell you that this thing you are doing is wrong. It has to be done this way or that way. You have to get someone who can walk up to you and tell you that, let us do this without fear. You have to create an atmosphere where people can come to you to correct you when you are going wrong. You have to join leadership circles, or yes, particularly this year, it was my priority to be attending leadership summits, attending leadership programs, not just for the fun of posting on social media, but to learn. Hello?
Adjo?
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting you. Just a kind reminder that you have about 2 minutes remaining.
Okay, I'll wrap it up.
And okay.
Okay, so I joined these summits not just for the media, not just to take photos, but to learn for people who are ahead of me, to learn how to become a better leader, to learn how they got to the top, because I believe they all started from somewhere. And another key thing is self-reflection and self-awareness. You have to ask yourself certain questions. What promises have I delivered? What promises have I failed to deliver? Why did I fail? What will I change? Who can call me out lovingly? This is one honest voice can save you from 10 bad decisions. So in conclusion, let me just get to there. In conclusion, young leaders. If Africa is going to be great, we must become the generation that sticks to its words. We must be the generation that promises less, delivers more, builds trust, values accountability more than applause, focuses on systems, not slogan, finishes what we start. Let us be the generation that goes beyond the rhetoric, the generation that transforms intentions to impact, passion to policy, and promises into tangible change. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your time. Thank you. So let me move to the next speaker, Kingsley. He's a writer and marketing communication specialist, and who gives a corporate makeover to brands and individuals, intentional about shaping public perception. When he's not addressing up brands, he's busy cooking up marketing campaigns or like snacking on strategies. So today, Kingsley, we're gonna speak on rethinking volunteerism and services. So Kingsley believes that service is not a little, it's a lifestyle. So we can wait to learn from you, Kingsley. The stage is yours. Are you there?
Oh yeah.
Are you with us?
Good evening. Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
So you have a 15 minutes. The stage is yours now.
Yes, can you hear me?
Can you fix your microphone, please?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Please confirm you can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you now.
Oh, great. Okay. Thank you, everyone. So, I have listened through the speakers, and they've done a great job. And Adil, you are amazing. You've made this session worth everything. And so I'll be going straight to my session. I'll be talking about rethinking voluntarism and building culture of impact in leadership. One thing I want us to know today is that I know we've been hearing statements that volunteers are not paid because their services are priceless. But if you look at it, have you really got to think about why people think that volunteers are priceless? Have we, if we think about it really, we begin to look at volunteering differently. And looking at the fact that you are contributing to impact would mean a lot better than what you do. You do better than what you usually do. So first off, I want to say, good hearts don't automatically build communities. It is the impact that you make that builds community. The impact that you create that shapes the society. So whenever you go take up the steps to volunteer, look at the impact, not the good heart. What impact will you create? At the end of this program, what is going to become of the persons who attended or who were part of this event? What is going to be with them? That is what should always, at our given time, inspire actions. Now, when you look at building, by that impact, you are building a culture of the society, a culture of people who are intentional about what they do in the society and shaping leadership. Now, building a culture of impact-driven leadership starts from emotion. You move from emotion to execution because everything you plan to do today starts from your mind, your heart. Your minds are involved, your mindset is involved. You move from that mindset towards execution of those things. When you have successfully executed them, you can now move towards creating systems, a system that rewards somebody's mic is unmuted and it's beeping. Like, can you mute your mic if you're not speaking, please? You move to execution.
Sorry, Kingsley, sorry. Please, anyone whose mic is unmuted, please mute it. Please.
Please go ahead, continue.
Perfect. Thank you. So you move from the emotions to executions, and from there you can build systems. When you think of volunteerism, your activities as a volunteer, as you shaping cultures and you helping to build systems, it becomes a lot more easier and fun for you because you are part of the system that you are building and the culture that you are shaping. That way, it becomes even more rewarding for you as a person. You are proud to say tomorrow that you are part of this particular culture of leaders who are leading change in their various corners. That is what volunteerism and intentional volunteering has to do does for people. Now, leadership is measurable. Leadership is measurable responsibility that everyone is equipped for. I will take that again. Leadership is a measurable responsibility that not everyone is equipped for. Why everyone is a leader? There are responsibilities that are assigned to a few persons. You cannot do them if you have not accepted that responsibility, accepted the idea of taking charge or being in control of this particular situation. So, in other words, your responsibility as continues to grow as you attain new heights. So if you are not ready to grow, your responsibilities remain static. But the moment you accept change and accept responsibilities, they begin to grow and the cultures and their influence begins to increase as well. But the problem we have with people who volunteer is that they do 1 day outreach and they go away. They do and they post on social media how they were involved in those outreach. What is the measurable impact? Nobody knows. What is the culture? What is the impression they left on the lives of the people that they volunteer went to volunteer for? Nobody knows. And it becomes a problem. Now, it becomes a short-term excitement because nobody, not many people will have been impacted in the course of that event. Easily, people forget about those things. But when a culture is impacted, no, very few persons, it leaves a lasting impression in the lives of people, and very few persons get to forget about it. They always remember culture because it's a part of people, it's a part of who we are, it is our identity. So, whenever we go out there to volunteer, we should try to speak to the culture of people, the mindset. That is where everything starts from. Now, the reality is that the problem returns and there is no sustainability, and the community remains dependent. So you see people coming to say, we
Sorry
want
for interrupting
come back
you,
to our community
Kingsley.
to
Can you
because
hear me?
they keep asking to come back because um, the impact that you are making, it's not measurable. It's not something that um, it is sustainable. So they come asking for more. You have not created a system after you, a system that
Can
outlives
you
you,
hear me?
which becomes a problem in the long run.
Uh,
So I think somebody
Kingsley,
say they cannot hear me very well. Is that correct?
can you hear me, Kingsley? Can you hear us?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but the mic is, I think, the audio is not good. Can you check your
I
mic
hear
or
someone say
connectivity?
they can't hear me in the comments. Is that correct? Please say something.
The
Let me
audio,
hear
yeah,
it.
the audio quality is not good. Can you check it?
I can hear you.
The audio quality is not good. Can you check your?
Yes, please go
Okay,
ahead. I
how
think
about
it's
now? Is it
fine
better
now.
now? Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
Go ahead.
yes,
Go
it's
ahead.
fine.
Okay, apologies about that. So I would like to go over this quickly. Now we have three impacts. Okay, okay, great. So impact driven leadership. What is really impact driven leadership? Now if you want to create an impact driven leadership, the first thing you have to consider it. You have to consider the purpose. Why are you doing what you are doing? What's the drive? Now, beyond the purpose, now you also have to look at the structure. What is the structure you have put in place to ensure sustainability? What is the structure you've put in place to ensure that this project or this impact outlives you? So that when you are no more, somebody else can carry on from where you stopped. Now, the last part being the result. What are the measurable results that you envisage at the end of the program? What results would you see, would you want to see and say that, oh, amazing, I did so well in this part. It was a success. Beyond the rhetorics, beyond the photo ops, beyond the social media posts that you do, obviously. What is the measurable impact in the long run? Now, to do better, let's say you want to do something. The next thing you do is you need to have a plan. Track your processes. Who speaks to you before the program? You are not just a volunteer, you are shaping culture. You are adding to the voices of amazing individuals out there making change. You cannot just take the role for um for a commoner. It's amazing the things you do, and you have to live up to the expectation that is expected of that role. Now, it's what changes. You don't you don't give impact. It's the change you create around in the course of um of volunteering. Now, the new young leaders, the questions you must ask yourself: Did I build capacity? Did I create leaders? Did I solve problems? You're not creating leaders. You're not solving problems. You just wasted everybody's time. And I'm sorry to say, because you have to understand that you for you to serve, you have to serve with strategy, build systems, not seasons. Do not take your service as a volunteer as a seasonal event because you are trying to build a career. Look at it as a system you are building that is going to reward you in future. Um, leave data, not just memories. Do not leave the memories. Don't dwell on the memories. Understand that there is data. The data, um, data proven results are irrefutable everywhere in the world. So whenever you volunteer, always look out for the data. And again, remember that the future belongs to impact-driven youth leaders. And the question you ask yourself is, how do I become an impact-driven leader? And if you ask this question sincerely in your heart, you will begin to look at volunteering and leadership differently. You don't need a stage to become a leader. You don't really need a stage to become a leader. But what do you need? But you need beyond the motivation. Beyond the motivation, you need clarity of purpose. You need focus. You need direction. You need mentors. You need people that looks up to you and gives you accountability. Even when it's not sweet, they give you reviews of the programs. They can tell you that, look, you are not doing good at this point. Do I have more minutes to talk?
You have a 2 minutes remaining.
Okay, so quickly, while we round up, speaking to you today is a product of volunteering. I'd volunteered LISEC, a couple of organizations, and most of the jobs that I have come to do in the corporate space was a result of my activities as a volunteer. I created an impact in the course of volunteering for free. And when it was time for a paid opportunity, somebody where I volunteered for recommended me. They thought that I was good enough with the things I did, and I did it. And I was able to build emotional intelligence, empathy, and teamwork. I understood all of those because I volunteered. So do not look at volunteering as an activity that you do because there is not you don't have the time and the luxury to afford better things at the moment. But look at it as shaping culture, creating impact, building community that you will later be proud of. With this, nothing will stop you in your aspiration to create an impact. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your good presentation. So let me move to the third speaker, Dennis. He's a transformational youth leader. advocate for the ethical value-based governance in Africa.
ذكر بآيات ربه فأعرض
Please,
عنها
anyone
ونسي
please, can you turn off your mic? Thank you so much. I appreciate.
Hi, Betsalot, you're muted. I'm not sure if you're talking, but you're muted.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
can you?
Sorry, I'm really sorry about it. So Dennis, you are here. You have a 15 minutes. Let me go back to the introduction. Well, because since I have met it, I don't think our participants have got a little bit background about you. So Dennis is one of our guest speaker, and he's a transformational youth leader and advocate for the ethical value-based governance in Africa, and he serves as the vice president for the program and the development strategy at Young African Leaders. So he will gonna speak on a topic building ethical and value-based leadership among young Africans. Dennis is a strong advocate for integrity-driven leadership, and something Africa urgently needs. Dennis, the stage is yours. So you have a 15 minutes. The stage is yours. All over to you.
Thank you so much, Abdullah. Please confirm you can hear me clearly and loud. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good evening, good afternoon, and warm greetings to every young African who is joining us this evening from across the continent and the diaspora. I'm really and truly honored to be able to speak to this year's AYLF End of Year Summit. And for those of us who have joined the previous summit, this is an event that always reminds us one truth, and that is Africa's greatest resource is not under the ground, but it is the millions of young Africans above it. So I think the theme for this summit is very key to what I'll be speaking today, as beyond rhetoric, empowering African youth for real. This calls us to be able to move from talk to transformation, and from potential to purpose, and from a vision to visible change. So today I'll be sharing much more about ethical and value-based leadership amongst the many young Africans we have on the continent. And this conversation is really dear to me, and this conversation really matters at this moment. And we all know that we are living in a continent that is full of brilliance, that is full of creativity, a continent that is full of courage and resilience. Yet we also know the challenges that we are facing. The biggest one being corruption, weak institutions, unemployment, conflicts, and systems that often undermine young people instead of uplifting them. And in the middle of all these contradictions, the question stands out. What kind of leaders must young Africans become if Africa is to rise beyond the rhetoric? And not just the leaders who speak well, not just the leaders who campaign well, but leaders who live well, serve well, and live in the values. So this is kind of leadership that is anchored on values, not about titles. It is about character, It is about credibility. It is about consistency. Sorry. It is about choosing what is right, even when no one is watching. So this is the kind of leadership that we're talking today. And while we're talking about ethical and value-based leadership, one of the key foundations of this kind of leadership is the transformational leadership. And value-based is at the heart of transformational leadership. And those who might not know, transformational leadership is built on four key.
Dennis, sorry for interrupting you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear.
Can you raise your voice a little bit because our YouTube participants are asking it.
Okay,
You're not audible.
Sorry. Please confirm you can hear me. I'm using headphones. Sometimes it might not be near me. So I just bring them closer to my mouth. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, but
Okay,
you may
good.
need to raise it again a little bit.
Okay.
So, my apologies.
Thank you so much.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. So I was saying, I was speaking on transformational leadership, and I was saying, value-based leadership is at the art of transformational leadership, and I was saying, transformational leadership is built on four pillars that are very key, and we cannot separate them from what I'm speaking today. The four of them are very easy to remember. Usually idealized. One is idealized influence, that is leading by example. People watch your actions more than they listen to your speeches. And then number two is inspirational motivation. That is giving people hope and direction, and the leaders must always be able to do that. Intellectual stimulation is the pillar number three, that is challenging the status quo, which I'll challenge each of us to be able to do that. And number four is individualized consideration, seeing people as humans and not tools. I think that one of the key things that we must be able to revisit as young leaders. That is the leaders value. People, they lift others up. And if young people, if young Africans embrace this model, we will be able to build a generation that reigns not from ego, but from service, and not from power, but also from a purpose. So why is ethical and value-based leadership essential to embrace as young people? Number one, this leadership is built on integrity. And as I've said earlier, integrity is doing right, not doing easy. And the challenges that we've highlighted, like corruption, if corruption does not begin with millions stolen. It begins with a small compromise, and that's what people don't understand. The leaders we're seeing stealing so much today, they didn't just begin with that much. They began with that a small act of coming and giving you money to vote, and you accepted the money. Number two, it is built on responsibility. That is owning your actions. Africa must And Africa must change. And Africa changes when young people stop waiting for someone else to solve their problems. We must be able to take the responsibility. Number three is be able to have the value of respect, treating people with dignity. And a leader who will not be able to respect others will never lead others. That's as clear as that. Number four is a service, and Grant, the previous speaker, was speaking about volunteering, leading to uplift, not to exploit. And true leadership is not about being important, having titles. It's about making others important. And number five, which is a key value to this, is justice. fairness in decisions. And every policy, every action must elevate, not oppress. These values, they are universal. They cannot be separated from ethical and value-based leadership from within Africa or outside Africa.
Dennis, sorry for interrupting you again. You're about to your session about to getting in. You have a 4 minute left, so use your time.
Okay, sure, I know. Thank you. These values, like I was saying, they transcend our tribe, they transcend our religion, they transcend our politics, they transcend our nationality, and they are values that build nations. And we, as young Africans, must be able to lead differently. And this is the hard truth that the generations that were before us, maybe we can say the people who are fighting for our first liberation as Africans, they were there, they might have made their mistakes. But for our generation, we must be able to commit to leading different. Because Africa cannot survive another century of corruption without accountability, another century of leadership without vision, another century of politics without ethics, and another century of opportunities without fairness. So in your lifetime, you will always face these temptations, but be able to hear this clearly. It is better to miss an opportunity than to lose your integrity. Opportunities return, but reputation does not. So always build with ethics and integrity, and ensure that these ethical leadership looks when in your life daily, that you leadership is not only in parliament boardrooms or government. Leadership just begins in ordinary spaces when we refuse bribes, when we are able, the students are able to submit original work. You are able to keep your promises, like the other previous speaker was saying. You are able to serve your community. You are able to stand for the truth, even if you have to stand alone. And when you are able to treat other people well. So we Africa does not need perfect leaders. We need Africans who are principled leaders. We need also to be very courageous. Leaders who put people above politics, leadership is also stewardship. And I'm telling you today, the young person listening to me, you should be able to embody all these. And with this, we are able to move forward. So I want to leave you with three commitments that we can be able to move this continent further. To build this ethical and value-based leadership among young Africans, we must be able to commit to these three things today. Choose values over popularity. Do the right thing even when it costs you attention, attention, likes, and support. I know right now we like likes. Choose purpose over position. Titles can be given or taken away, but purpose will always remain. And also number three, choose service over self. When you serve people, they will lift you to leadership. And when you serve yourself, they will remove you from leadership. You know what is happening in West Africa. So let's move beyond the rhetorics. And as we also near 2026, let us reject the leadership that is loud but empty. Let us reject activism without action, and let us reject speeches without substance. And let us arise as ethical leaders, as value-driven leaders, as transformational leaders, and as young Africans, shaping the destiny of our continent. And you know, the future is not waiting, it is calling. And the call is simple: lead with the values, lead with the courage, lead with integrity. And I know from this summit we are having today, I don't want to repeat what might have been said last year, but this should be able to mark the beginning of a new generation of leaders, leaders who speak less and do more, leaders who dream big and act boldly, and leaders who choose values over vanity. And I'm always a believer that Africa is rising, and it will rise in the shoulders of young leaders who dare to lead with integrity and ethically. And with that said, thank you so much. God bless you and God bless Africa. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dennis. It was powerful. Ethics has never sounded this exciting. It's very impactful, and also the time for a position, even it is too short. I want to acknowledge that we have already learned so much from this session, and thank you for your rich insight for every speakers. So at this point, I will gonna hand over to my co-moderator, Anu, to continue with the remaining speakers. Are you there, Anu?
Yes, I am, Betsalot. Can you hear me?
Yeah, continue.
All
The
right.
stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Betsalot. So I will be welcoming our next speaker, Mr. Charles Gusto. Charles Gusto is a gender activist, mental health advocate, and Yali Cohort 10 alumni. He's a 2025 TEDx speaker and communications expert. He's the national president for African Young Leaders Foundation Malawi chapter. And he'll be speaking to us on redefining success, how youth can drive impact beyond titles and platforms. So with clapping reactions, join me in welcoming Mr. Charles Gusto. Sir, you have the floor.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
I hope I'm audible enough.
Yes.
I'm trying to share my screen if I can. Okay. Let me see. Just a moment.
No problem. Also, please note that you have 15 minutes. Yes, we're excited to hear from you.
Okay, let me see. I don't know if you're able to see my presentation.
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Let me put in the right. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much for having me. And it is quite a privilege for me again to be among the speakers this year of the summit, the AYLF summit. Such a privilege and honor as well for me for hearing from my fellow speakers that have just spoken. My name is Charles from Malawi. I'm the national president for African Young Leaders Foundation Malawi chapter. My topic will be on navigating the rise in suicide cases among the youth in Africa. Navigating the rise in suicide cases among the youth in Africa. That is from mere talk to action. We want us to think through this as something that's not just something we can talk about, but something that we can do, something that we can move from just a rhetoric point of view that to something that we can do something about. So first of all, we want to talk about what mental health is. So by definition, it is the state of emotional, psychological, and social well-being, and it does affect how we think, feel, and act. And it is also important to not know, to think that mental health is something we cannot separate from our physical health. because what we get affected with the mental state of our being does also affect our physical being. So mental health is the wellness of our mental being. So just to give a little bit of a background on what the statistics are out there about mental health, it is estimated that 1 billion people are living with a mental disorder. This could be depression, this could be anxiety disorder, could be bipolar, etc. There's a lot of mental disorders that are out there. So you can imagine that out of 8 billion people around the globe, we have 1 billion people that are living, that are moving, that are working in offices, that are leading us, that have some sort of a mental disorder. So it's quite alarming. And also that 3 million people die every year from the harmful use of alcohol and substance abuse. And this speaks directly to more young people in Africa. And over 700,000 people commit suicide every year. I mean, it's quite alarming to think about. That's almost 1 million people, are dying every year from suicide. And 1 person dies every 40 seconds that we are alive on Earth, that we breathe and live and have our interactions with our friends. Every 40 seconds, a person is dying from suicide. And I want to take us back home, sometimes we think maybe these are just figures out there, but think of Africa, 11%, out of every 100 people, 11 of us are dying from suicide annually. And more or so, 18 of the 100 are men as compared to women. So just the context of Malawi, we have, that's this year alone, 2025, from January to September, we've lost about 482 people. And of this number, 415 are men. It's quite really a struggle, to think about. I didn't put the figures out there, but 415 of the 482 people that have died in Malawi from January to September are young people and men, to be in particular. And over the past 3 years, we've lost in Malawi only over 2,000 people to suicide. I've had the passion to talk about mental health from a place of having an experience of wanting to end my own life over things that I've gone through in life. Over the past 4 years so far, I've been speaking about mental health, not from a place of hearing about these cases, not from a place of just reading about these cases, but from a place of experiencing something of that nature, myself, where I had struggles over the years, financial issues. I will be going into the causes just in a moment, but I have had experiences myself to say, what is the meaning of my life because of the things that I've been going through? So I've had experience. So I'm speaking from a place of experience rather than just from a place of hearing or knowing. So I just want us to look at the causes. What are some of the causes of suicide as we're going through, navigating through this rise in Malawi and Africa in general? So gambling is one big issue among young people in Africa. I can attest to this, hearing most of the cases that I've mentioned about Malawi, and I'm sure so much more in other African countries as well, that gambling addiction among young people is quite high. It's also stemming from a place of economic challenges, unemployment rates that are so high in most African nations. We have more young people that wake up every morning to go do betting, so that gets them to get addicted to make it their lifestyle, They just cannot live without gambling. They've got to either sell what they have or just whatever means that they will have to make sure that they are indulging in gambling. And this, when it comes from a place of feeling a void, something that you're trying to deal with, not just in a place of, I want to find money or I want to end my poverty, but from a place of trying to fill in a void of some sort, something that's displacing you, something that's disturbing your mind, it becomes a huge, huge problem. Issues of unsettled debts. We have young people that are living in debt in Africa because we are trying to, sometimes the issue is we want to service a life that we are not able to at the moment. You know, we want to, because of social media issues that we see our friends living lives that are like very flashy and all that, we think that we've got to live that expectation or the expectation that people do have on us. It pushes young people into debts that cannot be settled. And this is really taking a toll on young people, and it's causing lots and lots of these suicidal cases that we're hearing about. Could be marital or relationship disputes. Just 2 weeks ago, I think here in Malawi, we heard of a young couple that had quarreled over whatever issues in their relationship, and the guy ended up to commit suicide. And another thing that of the issues that drug and substance abuse. There was a young man just last week, and this young man was in his final year of college, you know, in University of Malawi. In his final year, the guy committed suicide for causes that were not known, you know. And I'm just thinking that some of this could be the reasons why we are losing most of and many of these productive young people that could have contributed to the development of our Africa as a continent. All these issues that my friends have spoken about, issues of volunteerism, issues of accountability, we will need these young people that are ending their lives. We will need these young people that are committing suicide. So these are some of the causes of suicidal cases that are on the rise. But then my issue is, you know, not just to give us causes and just to give us a little bit of background of what mental health is and suicide cases and figures and statistics, but I want us to really think through if we're going to make an impact, as the summit suggests, if we're going to move from just mere talk to action, we really need to think about how do we navigate through, you know, how do we navigate through? I would think that we need to prioritize mental health education and awareness. For me, I believe that issues of mental health should be spoken from a young age. Young people need to know, especially men, because the problem is mostly men, you know. It's unlike women, because women do, you know, gather in their real circles and they speak out their issues. If they've got struggles, they do not keep it to themselves. But it's most young men, because I think we are living in a culture, especially Malawi, I'm not too sure about other countries, especially Malawi, because there's a saying that men do not cry. As a man, you've got to show your manhood, you've got to show your strength, you've got to be strong. Even if you're struggling, you do not have to show your emotions. And that's a problem, because that is coming from a young age where young people are not taught to be vulnerable enough to show, to express their emotions. So we are taught to be strong at a time when we are supposed to be weak. And it doesn't mean, you know, crying or showing emotions is a sign of weakness. No, it is not. But it's rather a sign of humanity. It is a sign that someone is human enough, because we are all created with emotions. We cannot be lying to ourselves that men have no emotions. Now, because we don't demonstrate them, or because we do not voice our struggles out, what we end up resorting to do is that we internalize those struggles. Now, because we internalize those struggles and they are building up, you know, they are building up. As they build up, what ends to happen is that suicidal ideations start to creep in. You know, they creep in. As they creep in, as the longer we entertain such, the more danger we are creating for us to see no meaning for life. Another way that we can navigate through this is we can improve the access to mental health resources and support. Most of our mental health resources, could be hospitals, could be places where people get counseling and stuff, are really not. Oh, unfortunately, I just had power gone there. I hope you can still see me in the dark. Okay, so the issue is most of the mental health institutions here, especially this part of Africa, you've got to spend some money to access certain service. Is a person here that is already struggling, like I have mentioned that people are struggling with finances, and then you have got to find money to pay to be assisted. Okay, well, maybe we might say there are public hospitals where a person can access these things, but those are not even adequate enough. We've got to improve these places where people get the support. Could be support groups. We can think of support groups where young people can go to, you know, they can meet in circles where they are comfortable to speak up, places where they're comfortable to voice out their concerns, to voice out their struggles, a place where they're more comfortable enough, they'll not feel judged. We need to improve on this if we're going to really make an impact on mental health in Africa. The last one is we can foster a supportive environment and community engagement, because we are living in places in our communities, you know, and we know that we might be able to see and notice that someone is struggling, a young person is going through something. Well, we might not necessarily be able to say, I'm going to give you a financial, you know, help, unless we have that capacity too. But we've got to build the environment that is supportive enough for people that are going through stuff. An environment that is, we have people that will be able to say, I can stand with you. We've got to move from just mere talk, like I've pointed out, to say, we have got to stand and be our brother's keeper. We cannot keep losing young people, because you know, young people are not the leaders of tomorrow. They are the leaders today. And if we keep losing young people, what are we losing? We are losing leaders. Young leaders that would have transformed Africa, young leaders that have changed the trajectory of Africa. We have got to do something, and I believe you and I have the responsibility of stopping to just talk about these things, a responsibility to really hold hands, to say, if I have a person, a friend, a neighbor that's going through stuff, I have got to reach out. And also the person that's struggling as well, they've got to be able to open up enough to reach out if they're struggling, to talk to someone. We cannot keep losing young people. That's all that I'm saying. So for us to navigate through the rise of cases of suicide in African young people, and us to build in Africa that's going to be that's going to be a developed one, we need to change the mindset to think that mental health is just a far-fetched topic from elsewhere, but it is something that we all have got to do something about. So I think I'll end there with a call to action for us to say, let us do something. We've got to hold hands. We have got to work together, prioritize the mental health awareness in all that we do, in schools, in places where we meet these young people. We've got to start from lower primary school to high school to universities. We've got to have these things brought to our awareness. We've got to improve our access to the resources. We've got to engage the government. Our governments have got to really step up to say, we can't keep losing young people, and we've got to foster an environment that we engage everyone that is struggling, and we'll heal this Africa together, and we build Africa that will transform our continent. I will end there, and thanks for listening and watching me speak. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing those insights with us. It's definitely a rising need to prioritize mental health, education, and awareness. Thank you so much, Charles. I would be welcoming our next speaker, Daisy Ansui. Daisy is a well-known non-profit advocate with a strong focus on children's causes entrepreneurship, and women empowerment. She's the founder and curator of the Gold Coast Literacy Program, a nonprofit dedicated to tackling illiteracy in slums and rural Ghana by providing resources and making learning fun and accessible. An event consultant, hostess, and prolific public speaker, Daisy currently serves as the national president for the African Young Leaders Foundation Ghana. Her mission is clear: to change the educational narrative and build a society free of illiteracy for every child in Ghana. Please join me in welcoming Miss Daisy with our clapping reactions as she'll be speaking on empowering the girl child in the digital age. You have the floor. And please know that you have 15 minutes as well. Thank you.
Actually, sorry, everybody. Good evening from here at almost 4:42 here in Ghana. I've been all over the place, so I think I'm getting out with the fever. Excuse my voice. My voice is usually not like this, but those Kofi and the others who know where I've been, changing narratives as usual. I had to quickly get back yesterday, and so excuse my voice. I'm a natural talker, but I know for this time around you win because I want to oversee the limited time. Usually I talk for money, but I would over talk. But then since I'm not too well, I think I may even do just 10 minutes or something. I want to thank the leaders of this organization. Okay. Okay. I want to thank the leaders for putting this this summit together. I think it's really remarkable. At the end of the year, as young adult, young leaders, young people trying to break from the stereotype, and tell the African story our way, which is something I'm very passionate about. During the year, we've heard, and we've probably taken part in some sort of things, and end of year summits like this brings us together to know what we're doing, right, what we can do, and how we can achieve and put Africa ourselves on a better global stage and let the world have a better view of us. I mean, so far over the years, we've had the other side, let's just say the other side, tell the African story their way. So event like this also projects what we think of Africa and how we want to tell the African story our way. So my topic today, I'm speaking on digitalization, but in a way where the young girls get access to leadership. And I know I said young girls, but I'm also here for the young boys, the young ladies, and also the young men as well. This particular topic is very dear to me because I've seen it happen. And when I saw it, I actually torn between two topics. Kofi will tell you, but I was like, oh, let me go for this one because I've experienced it. And over here in Ghana, I don't know about the other part of the world, we were actually crying years back, asking for a girl child to also have access to education. Because over here, back in the days, it was just the boy child. And our parents believe that the girl's child plays in the kitchen, make babies, care for the family. And so girl children weren't allowed access to education. But then I think people like us, people with a voice, people who also wanted to tell the African story a better way, also fought, just like we're here today, putting our heads together and trying to fight the status quo. They also fought their way. And today I can say we have more girls' children in school. Statistics will say, I can even say in some part, the girls are even more than the boys in certain schools. So I believe, as time would have it, we've been able to conquer that part of getting them access to education. But there's also one thing, more or less like a conquer one we need to also get rid of. We're in a stage where we're all on social media. It was like a joke. We thought back in the days, you would have to use a back-headed computer to, send emails. It would take days. We had these phones that wouldn't work properly. We call them here YAM phones, the phones without internet, or they are not smartphones. So we call them in Ghana, we say they are YAM phones. And if it took some time for these things to even get into our system. But we're in a world where everything is digital, and you find girls or even boys as young as 8, they have tablets, they have cell phones, and I mean, for me, I wouldn't believe that they're able to do their works and read and do whatever they need to do. But then also, are we even monitoring them enough? Do we know what we're doing? A friend of mine is in Canada. His kids are almost in high school. He can be in Ghana and he will switch off their internet over there. And I was like, yo, how do you do this thing? His child will call, their twins. They'll call him and he says, hey, Kia, you went on this page. What were you looking for on that page? And this, my friend, is not even an IT person. He's an engineer. He fixes MRI machines. And so I always wonder how he does that. But then I think that's the parental control that we all need to have access to make sure that these kids are doing the right thing. To hammer more on my actual topic, getting them access to leadership, I don't think any of us here flew up and became who we are. I don't think we just jetted up to where we are right now. I believe we all went through it. We've all started as, you know, people that were in head of, people who didn't have a voice, but they were one way or the other groomed by someone. We were one way or the other. We had our eyes set on somebody. That is, you say, oh, I'm looking up to this person. This person is my mentor. This person, I want to live life like this person. I want to talk, act, and even behave like this person. We have incidents where people are dressing up like their pastors. People are talking like their mentors. And funny enough, sometimes even these mentors doesn't even know these mentees, but far away, these mentees believe that, okay, they're living the lifestyle of this set mentor. So they are, what's it called? They are living the examples that they left behind. And that is what I want us to talk about as people who had gone through it, and also be set in a place where we can coach and mentor others. When was the last time, like I said earlier, I'm not going to limit this to just the girl child, even though my topic was a girl child, so you don't say we are being biased. So I'm going to, make it boys and girls. When was the last time you used your position to influence a child? When was the last time you even gathered a child? In my position, I was in the north. So I went to the north of Ghana. We're training the women there, my nonprofit, we're training them in batik and tie and dye making. And you realize that because you're from the south or because you're the boss or whatever, people want to get access to you. Are you the type that, no, like, hey, you're destroying my suit, or you just stepped on my sneakers? Are you that type? We're looking at access to leadership. And these people or these children, these young adults are looking up to you. So I'm throwing this to all of us. When was the last time that you gathered a child, or even get you know somebody and you give the child access to that somebody because you know it's going to transform their lives? When was the last time you yourself, you don't have to get podium, you don't have to be called like I've been called today to come and speak. In your own small ways, you could gather people and talk to them. Have you ever met a child who's supposed to be in school and they're not in school, and you engage them in a short conversation? What says the time? You're not supposed to be in school. What's the problem? Why are you not in school? Some of these petty talks goes a long way to transform these children and make them feel like they are seen, they are heard, or they also belong. Sometimes people are wandering the streets and they feel like, I have nobody. It's true. I grew up without having anybody. I mean, I still don't have anybody anyway, but then we create circles. You find people that their thought coincides with yours, and that is what I am asking for. When was the last time you gave somebody an encouragement? And this somebody should be a girl or a young adult, if I should say in general, that you give the person access to you. Do you say that they should go through secretaries, open doors upon doors? Funny enough, those of us who even do these things, we're not even anywhere yet, but yet you restrict people from getting access to you. And these girls need us, or these boys, this young adult, need us to also, shape their lives just like we have been groomed in the other way. Imagine a young adult is getting access to somebody they're not supposed to. Somebody who's a prostitute, somebody who's into hard drugs, somebody, who's pimping them. Some of the I have personally seen. I think I've seen one of my head of media is here at my nonprofit, Jean-Claude. He will tell you, we went for an outreach, and when we came back, when our bus stopped, we saw a bus that has loaded people. I'm sure they'll be from Mali or Somalia, I don't know, but those people, the Fulani people, I don't know what that's how they were looking like. We saw them with our own eyes, where A minivan has come to drop them somewhere where we're standing in Ghana, all the way there. And you know what they're coming to? They're coming to beg for arms. And these people all have masters. So this is a sort of leadership that they, when they look left and right, this is the only leadership they could get. This is the only access they could get to somebody who is different from them, somebody who's living a better life from them. And this is what we're trying to avoid. Our youth, our young adults are getting into the wrong hands. We said we wanted technology. Technology is here, but is it doing good or more harm? Our Minister of Education here in Ghana came out to say no longer ago that some of our students were given tablet to, the education system gave them tablet to learn. And one of the things he came up to say is that some of these children are using it to watch porn. Then again, leadership assets coming. Who is leading these people? I do a lot of mentoring in schools and, international organizations. And sometimes it's funny how when I'm mentoring international organization or I'm speaking somewhere, you don't even find a lot of Ghanaians, girls or young adults in there. I've mentored people from Kenya, Somali, all of that. Sometimes I ask myself, where are my own people? Why are they not here? Is it that we're not looking hard enough? Is it that we're not searching? Is it that we're too limited? Is it that we're not opening? How many schools do we even have here in Ghana that is giving them access to STEM and all of these things? I mean, we have certain people here, Farida Bedwa, we have Soronko Academy by Esther, and they are into solid STEM, and they're helping these young girls, to go into STEM and robotics. We have some of the schools, the girls' schools here also, Methodist Senior High, we have, I think, Wesley Girls. They won international robotic competitions and, STEM competitions. I myself, my nonprofit, also took the initiative to build a robotic and coding center for a community here. I mean, that's one is a large one, so we're still putting our monies together. But then how many times can you sleep and close your eyes and know that, okay, the next generation is safe? If we are not there to guide, they are safe. Or how many times have you slept peacefully knowing that, okay, you did your best to give somebody access to leadership? Are we all being pompous? Are we all being too big and seeing them that, oh, they're not, below us as standard? I can't be dirty. You can't come close to me. I just want to say we are all that they have. And if these young adults can come closer to us and get access to us and gain the knowledge that we has also been given. Like I said, maybe you would think you went to school, grad school, whatever, you're a lawyer now, you're a doctor now, and where were they when I was learning? They should also go and burn the midnight candle like I did. Where were they when, I was starving? We've all been through it, but that is why we're here today. One of the things I tell people in my team is, I didn't have it all growing up. It's one of the things I realized that the young people of today, we don't have patience. We can't wait. We can't. Okay, someone is talking. we can't wait, and we don't have that patience to wait through that period. And so we want quick money, we want access to quick stuff. So people are doing porn, people are doing drugs, people are being trafficked, a whole lot of things is going on. But some of us, like you, me, that were able to go through the fire and get refined, this is our time to gather all those young ones, those people who are also going to take the mandate. Oh. Okay, I don't know what's happening. Can you? Okay, all right. So this is the
We can
time
hear you.
for.
Go on.
Okay, yeah, something happened. I wasn't sure if you guys were hearing me. So this is the time for us to bring these young adults to us and make sure they get access to leadership. Once in a while, gather them.
Daisy,
Yes.
sorry for interrupting you. You have a 3 minute left, so try to.
Okay, that's all right. So, thank you. When was the last time you even gathered the young adults in your community to say, let's go meet this certain MP, let's meet this person, this iconic person in our community? If the last time James was here in Ghana, I was so busy with work, but he did something that he even made time out of his busy schedule to gather. That is what we were looking for. We need to gather. We need to bring them closer under our wings. guide them, and make sure they're in the right hands. I think he has to catch a flight the next day, but he's still gathered. And that is what we're looking for. You need to gather these children, impart in them, and make them know that there's leadership and there's leadership. There's a leadership that can turn you into a criminal, and there's a leadership that could make you the next biggest thing in Africa, even the next biggest thing in the world, if you get the right leadership and also the right tools to use when it comes to being digitalized. I've had people have the latest iPhones. I use a Samsung. I have people use the latest iPhones better than my Samsung, and all they do is Snapchat and other stuff. And I look at them, I'm like, yo, even with my Samsung, I'm able to work and do other stuff on my phone. And you have the smartest phone, most expensive phone, probably than mine, and all you're doing is taking Snapchat and whatever. I was in the north. I was engaging some people, and they don't even have a LinkedIn. Everybody has TikTok. Can you imagine? The youth. Everybody has TikTok, but we don't even have LinkedIn on our phones. And I'm like, as I said, you know what? LinkedIn is where all the businesses happens, all the conferences, all the big shout-outs people are. You want somebody to groom you, it's LinkedIn. So what are you doing on TikTok? Oh, madam. I said, no, it's not about madam. Me, I don't have TikTok on my phone. I'm not trying to rubbish anybody's effort, because one of my team people told me they have LinkedIn for, TikTok for business. So if you're on TikTok, are you even accessing TikTok for business? Are you using TikTok for shaking bomb bomb? That is where we have to come in. They have access to this digital internet and stuff, but they don't know how to use it. So that is how we as leaders come in, show them that way, give them the access, and make them tap into what we already know. The mistakes we have made should be their correction point, where we use ourselves as a sample so they don't make the same mistakes again. This thing we're doing right now is not just about us, it's not just about our family, it's about the countries we are in, the youth, Africa as a whole. I've had non-profit since 2017. I've never done anything in my hometown. That should tell you something. It's not just about us. I've gone to other communities, several regions, but not my hometown, because it's not just about us and for the titles and for the name. It's about Africa as a whole. So I think my time is up. I'm going to wrap up now. I just want to say, empowering the girl child in the digital age is not just a moral imperative. No, this is not about a moral imperative at all. This is an economic and social necessity that we, all of us, me, you, have to rise and act on it now. The action and the call to action is now. So the next time you see a young adult, you see a young child, a young boy somewhere, remember, oh, this is my moment. That is what you have to tell yourself. This is my moment. This is my time to impact such a child, so they can also, even not even be better than me, at least be like me. And also, when we are gone, we've done our time and gone, we can sleep and say, oh, we left Africa in the right hands. And these other people, I don't want to mention any on the other side, they don't know what is coming for them, because as young leaders gathered here today, we've groomed people who are more than capable of taking over from us. Thank you very much. And I'll be waiting for your questions.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Can we give her a clapping reaction? The wonderful insights she has shared with us today. Thank you very much for joining us and for sharing such amazing insights. So just to quickly move on, I'll be introducing our next speaker, Judith M.D.E. Oliveira. Apologies if I mispronounced it. And I would introduce her by starting with this quote: "Leadership is not about being popular, it's about being effective," by Bill Owens. A young woman who loves to serve the Lord, puts God first in all her endeavors, and has the zeal to spread the word of God in all corners of the world. She's a charity enthusiast, a leader, a lady with a lioness heart, who advocates for women in business and leadership. She's a nail technician by profession, a final year student in the University of Namibia, and a passionate servant leader at heart. Please welcome Miss Judith Mpande de Oliveira. You have the floor. Hi, are you there? Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes, you have 15 minutes.
Okay, thank you so much for introducing me. I'm really honored to be here. Thank you to the participants that they took some time to actually join us with this event. So I'm just gonna dive into, since I don't have much how should I say so I'm gonna talk about a topic which is strengthening continental youth collaboration through digital spaces or networks. So I'm gonna touch on how, why do we have to strengthen collaborations among the youth in different continents, or in the continent of Africa to be exact. And then I'm going to talk about the NBI collaborations, as well as I'm going to give us some takeaways. So why do we need to strengthen collaboration? First of all, so this is to help young people gain or have more opportunities across the globe. Because it's only when you collaborate with other organizations, with other individuals that are doing massive in in their NGOs, or you can name this spheres. And the next thing is exchange knowledge across countries, build innovative solutions for shared problems. For example, if you realize that, okay, for example, Namibia is facing this type of situation at hand, maybe in relation to Zambia, maybe in relation to Sierra Leone or Cameroon to exact. So that is an opportunity for actually step in to say, you know what, we are facing the same situation. How do we address the situation across Africa or within the Africa sphere as well, or out of a continental, sphere as well? So this is what we're looking into. So implement regional policies. I believe that the people that may be in the space, or leaders, that I'm saying, that leaders into UN, or probably that are serving into AU. So now these are people that you're supposed to link up with as a leader. And what is the reason why you are linking up with these people? It's basically because you want those people in those spaces to actually influence the policy making decisions because they have the access of information, they have the access of the people that make these decisions. And being in that room, an opportunity for you to actually bring your innovative ideas and say, you know what, this is what I have on the table. Can you collaborate on this? Maybe you can table it in this discussion room, or then we can see how at the end of the day we have people that these policies are going to be implemented, and it's going to be to the benefit of our own people, our own country. So the next thing is create a stronger youth identity. It's only through collaborations that you are able to expect, number one. And number two, you are able to build up on your interpersonal skills as a leader or as an individual. So you can also build your identity. How do you build your leadership identity? It's through the type of organizations. It's through the clubs that you have implemented in your country or established in regions of your country or other people's countries. So that is how it is. That is how you're bringing your leadership identity as well. And that one is the social identity and belonging. So the third one is the personal identity, which I mentioned to mention this, and that is public speaking clubs or societies, for example, where people go and actually, expose themselves to the world on the leverage of information and understanding of the concept that they want to actually advocate for. So these are identities that we want, and we only build this or create these spaces or these opportunities among the youth when we collaborate with one another. Because I believe strongly in collaboration. Number one, because I'm just gonna share a minor, simple story of myself. Today, there are certain things that were shared in my bio, which I'm gonna speak on now. So actually, I'm the president of AYLF, and as well as the CEO for Next Business ID. This is an organization in Asia. It's originated from Asia. So actually, the CEO, I just recently got appointed. How did I come to this aspect of this appointment or this collaboration? It was because of I met Lola. I became a Lola president in the process of meeting an individual that I worked with in the ASP, where I get to experience and learn what other people are doing in Uganda, Tanzania, Somalia, you name them. And I had to take that opportunity to say, you know what, I'm not going back to Namibia because we went for a Pan-Africanist conference in Kigali, Rwanda. So I was like, I'm not going back to Namibia without with one or two individuals in the same space, because I advocated for women in leadership. I believe women are powerful leaders, and with them leading, there's so much change that can be built. So I believe in the power that women have. So I was like, I ended up in the process of collaborating with one individual, I ended up with Lola. And that's how I ended up with AYLF to begin with, because of the relation of being, putting myself out there and actually, because most of the times it's not that you can only collaborate physical basis or you have to meet, but most of the time that's why we have to strengthen the idea of us collaborating through digital networks. And this is one of the ways you can meet someone in a different country, but you keep tabs on one another, you focus, look, what do they like, what is it that there's space that they advocate most of the time, and you can also get involved and assist the person, or is there something that bring you to that person or to that particular idea for you to actually out yourself and bring out the ideas that you have on the table. So back to being an NBIC, or this is an organization whereby it's advocating more, not advocating, but it wants to put individuals like leaders and entrepreneurship, young women and young men that are so passionate about entrepreneurship, and we have created our own magazine whereby we publish these stories in this magazine. This is an international magazine to begin with. So this is something that how did this happen? It's because Lola and NBI decided to collaborate and idea, and now this is something that we are using globally, like whereby any story that we see is talking about Africans or putting Africans on the top. That is basically what we want to document there, so that we look back and say, you know, the stories of young individuals in this region or in another continent where marketing yourself as a leader, as an entrepreneur, your is documented. We make sure that it's publicized for the whole world to see. So this is the power of networking, or this of collaborations. I just wanted to point it out there. So it's very important that we do not take this WhatsApp, LinkedIn, or Instagram as just a normal social media platform, but as this is your identity, this is your profile, and everything about that what you should reflect what you inspired for others to see, or what you others to learn as a leader or as an entrepreneur. So that is that. So how do we have to do? This is one of ways, create a content by the youth online platform, which I mentioned about the LinkedIn, I mentioned about the WhatsApp. Am I running Okay. As well as creating youth apps, whereby maybe we can create an app where it talks about online training sessions, aspects on digital issues, or maybe cybersecurity we want to address, or if we want to create a space whereby young people can actually have their own app where they talk about certain things. And I also want to mention that with this thing is very important, because we look into this very well, because it's going to help people because not every single time, not everybody have the time or maybe the space to actually be involved in certain things physical, but as long as that thing is position whereby they're able to access it from the comfort of the home, like what I do now in this event, or in this conference, is basically trying to advocate different ideologies, different people that are watching over, the continent, and they are getting the awareness, they are getting the information that they need as a leader, how you should behave, how you should do it. Most of my speakers have already touched on a lot of things, which is so inspiring. It's important that is the way we should address the situation of strengthening that, and as well as virtual leadership program involving all countries, like basically what we're doing, training leaders out there. How do you become a Pan-Africanist? How do you become a great leader? How do you do a virtual platform where they can access the speakers, they can access the presentations, they can access, you know, the information and everything at large, and still it works out for them. Organizations work out for their clubs or whatever they are actually doing. Or the last one is collaborative social media campaigns. Now we're going to talk about how do you use social media to strengthen the collaboration, as I said. So you can actually partner up with any influencer of your choice, or maybe that's in the same with what you do. This is to help amplify the initiative. So it's very important that we do not just admire people from distance and be like, I like this one, I like how this one speaks, I love how this person dresses, or what. It's not, it's beyond that. Look at what is this person this idea of bringing initiative to a better place. You look into that. So it's very important that we should not just be admiring, but we want to see, okay, apart from admiring you, what can I learn from you? You inspire me, yes, but at what level can I tap into knowledge? Because that is the idea. We want to bring the community that of inspired and empowered young females or males across the world that can stand together and say what? Because in that we're talking about this whole situation that my previous speaker spoke about, I will not be able to mention the name, but we are not expect our parents of the current. Let's have a realization that their time has passed. Yes, with handing over power to us because we haven't reached that level of trusting us with the capacity or with the with responsibilities to be leaders. And that is one of the things we should look into, because no one is coming to save us, because once they are gone, it's up to us. So responsibility to make sure that we bring each other together, we collaborate more, we invest in each other's knowledge and understanding. At the end of the day, we're going to build the Africa, we're going to build the ideologies that we want to be implemented in the near future. So, and the last one is going to be on my side is have youth ambassador programs that connect organizations across borders. This is basically it. Yes, that is the idea. We want all these organizations to actually work together in understanding that we want A and B to be dealt with in this way. We want this and this to be done this way. Let's have the things on the table, and let's have the ideas, the mindset, and everything, because it's not a one man's job, or it's not a one man's game, but we have to make sure that we involve ourselves in this as young as we are, because we're never getting old. We're never getting young, but we're getting old. So we need to be mindful that we are considerate of what we're doing now as young people to help Africa. Because I'll just share a little bit. When I went to Rwanda, I came to understand that there are powerful young people that are doing amazing things in their countries, which I had to look at and say, you know what, I want to take this to Namibia. I want to implement this in Namibia. I want A, B, and C to be in Namibia. And today we have that in Namibia because I took that idea. And to be honest, in my country, I'm the first president of Lola that is actually focusing more on women in leadership. And to be honest, it's like I'm so honored that we have a female president and we have like the top executives in parliament, which are females. And it's a good feeling knowing that you're advocating something that your country approves of and your country is also in support of, despite they'll be having male, because the past 3 years, few decades, not years, but few decades, we've only been led by males. So it's a great thing that I'm advocating for this, because at least I'm bringing awareness to the young girls in my community. So on my end, my name is Judith de Oliveira. Thank you so much for having me. I think it's even getting dark now. So back to the speaker, the moderator. I'm done with my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Judith, for speaking on strengthening continental youth collaboration. It was amazing to hear from you. Can we all give the clap reactions, yes, to encourage our speakers? And now we'll be moving on to our question and answer session. So if you have questions, either on the YouTube platform or on the Zoom platform, feel free to share so I can read them out and indicate the speaker that your question is directed to. Thank you so much to all our speakers for those powerful insights. While we wait for the questions. So while we wait for the questions, I'd love to know where everyone is listening in from. So in the chat box, can we all type in our flags? I'm listening in from Nigeria. Hi, Wangela Wait from Ethiopia. Hi from Rwanda. Hi, Grace from Uganda. I am still looking in for your questions from YouTube and Zoom. If you have any questions, kindly type it in the chat box. But while we wait for that, I would like to know if Miss Daisy is still on the call.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, so while we wait for everyone else to drop in their questions, I think I actually have a question. What would you say is the biggest barrier? What would you say is the biggest? Okay, sorry, before I go on, if you have a question, if you can raise your hand as well, so I can identify you. You can raise your hand or type it in the chat box on Zoom. Okay. Imani, I want to confirm if you have a question. Okay. At Jukire, I'm so sorry if I pronounced it wrongly. You have a question, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello everyone, I hope I'm audible enough.
Yes, we can hear you. You can go on.
I think there is a Singers manner with a lot of music in the background. Maybe the host can try to do.
Can you hear me?
I think it's clear now.
Okay, you can go ahead. We can hear you.
I'm Cuthbert from Uganda. I have a concern about specifically going to. I hope I'm audible enough. Yes, this is going to the one who presented about mental health. I have met several numbers of youth all across the country. I'm speaking on a scale of Uganda as a country that have that gross shyness, like they almost can't tell their situation to anyone. And literally, the best thing, the best approach they can do is maybe going to YouTube. They know how to, in this setting of ages of 20 to 27, most people are heartbroken relationships, failed relationships, things like that. So they go on YouTube and search how to get off this, how to unlove this, so things like that. So as African Youth Foundation, how are we, how accommodative have we prepared for such youth? Maybe it could be anonymous engagements that are not biased. Over to you.
Hi, we can't hear you any longer. You're muted.
I think he's done
Yes,
with his question.
I finished my submission.
Oh, apologies, because I was having network issues. But I think that I think that question, what that feedback was directed to Mr. Charles, because I believe he's the one that spoke about mental health. I see that Bernard also has his hand raised. You can go on and unmute yourself.
Hey to everyone. My name is Bernard. I'm from Rwanda. I have a question because it is the first time to attend African Young Leaders Foundation. So my question is that I wanted to ask you what are the missions or the purpose of the African Young Leaders Foundation? Thank you.
Anu, are you there? Are you there, Anu?
Yes, I'm there.
No, I'm just looking for our co-coordinator, but let me just continue by myself. Thank you for your question. So let me go back to the question that I got from the chat. So I think the question is from Padua Pelonis to Pelonis. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. The question is, how do you develop trusted friends to be your accountability partners? Mr. Adwa, this question is directed to Mr. Adwa. Are you there, Mr. Sarwa?
Hello.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, point of correction is Miss Adjoa, not Mr.
Okay.
Okay, so the question is,
My
please,
apologies.
don't worry.
Okay,
Please, how do you develop trusted friends to be your accountability partners? So what I'll say is you have to choose like-minded friends, friends who have similar values, and you have to be very clear with your expectations. You have to set certain boundaries because familiarity will have people overstep their boundaries. So you have to be clear on what you expect. Have I answered your question, please?
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Sariwa. So, Charles, are you there? You can continue with your answer for the question. Charles,
Okay.
are you with us?
All right. Yes, I am here.
Okay, the stage is yours.
Yes, I think the question was really about how can we help in terms of young people that navigate to social media, maybe in terms of trying to find solution for their mental health problems. So that was, I think, from Uganda. I think the issue is that most young people do find solace in a matter of speaking to say that they feel social media is a place where they will be able to be heard from their friends. But as African Young Leaders Foundation or any African entity, could be organizations, could be social networking, that we can build a place where we can talk to each other. This is a platform where we are being we are talking to one another, and we can have spaces where you can reach out to any of the people that you feel you are able to talk to. So it's a matter of finding comfort in speaking to a fellow person rather than maybe referring to social media. Sometimes the easing of the pressure that we are going through, that we find on social media, might not necessarily speak to our struggle or our problem. So I would advise that find someone that you can talk to, someone you can trust, or you can build networks through here that we're having a conversation. Some of us have really spoken to people, have helped people that were on the verge of, committing suicide, and they've really been helped. And we can always talk even after this conversation. I think that should help my friend from Uganda. Thanks, and over.
Thank you so much for your clear answers. So we're going to take more hand from the chat. So Wengalawit, Johannes, the stage is yours.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. Thank you so much for the organizers, the leaders, and every speakers.
Can you speak louder, please? We can
hello?
hear you now. We can hear you now. Can you raise your voice a little bit?
Okay. How about now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, I'm a third-year nutrition student, and I want to proudly say that the young people here are incredibly energetic, talented, and full of ideas. But unfortunately, so much of this potential is being wasted. We hear a lot of discussions about youth involvement, youth empowerment across the continent, but in reality, many people, including myself, speaking as the founder of Nutrition and Food Science Students Association, still we face real barriers when we try to take initiative or do something exceptional, or maybe like think beyond the traditional path. And sometimes we're even silenced or discouraged. So my question is, what practical steps can leaders and institutions take to move beyond symbolic support to actually create a meaningful partnership with the youth? How can we make sure that youth, people with ideas, energy, are truly supported instead of being pushed back or expected to simply follow the old paths or old ways? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Wengalawi. So for whom are you directing your question?
Anyone can answer. I don't have specific person to ask to. So anyone from the speakers can answer.
Okay, I will direct this question to Daisy. Daisy, are you there? Daisy, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you guys. I'm here. But you would have had to probably repeat her question again because she was really speaking out loud too.
Okay, Wengalawi, can you repeat your question to Daisy?
My question is, what practical steps can leaders at institutions take to move beyond symbolic support to actually create a meaning? I'm sorry for the interruption. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. How can we make sure that young people with ideas, energies are supported instead of being pushed back or simply expected to follow the old ways? Because I have seen a lot of problems when I reach out to organizations, institutions, and old leaders.
So if I get you right, you're asking how we can avoid young people with initiatives or smart ideas getting pushed away. Is that what you're trying to say? Okay. All right. So thank you very much for your question. I mean, you're not lying if you say this. It's happening. And like I said, I've witnessed my fellow people do things like that. But you see, we're all individuals, and sometimes you also have to look deep and have a targeted audience. I have this thing that I say, we rise together no matter what. Like me, my mantra is what? Changing the narrative, leaving none behind. That is what we say at my nonprofit. Either how, we'll have to change the narrative. And none of us is supposed to be left behind. Oftentimes also, as youth, we aim too high. Imagine you're here and you actually want to befriend the president. Meanwhile, there's somebody who also have an organization that you could, partner with, because their thoughts coincides with yours. And we need to know that there's something called stepping stones. You have to start from somewhere before you get somewhere. You know what then? Let me tell you this secret about me. So I write speeches for people, and not just ordinary people. I'm writing speeches for presidents and speeches for ministers over here in Ghana. I didn't just stand up to go and write these speeches. It took work, it took time. Some of them I hadn't even met in person. It was recommendation. So sometimes we shouldn't be in a rush to also aim at a specific. I'll have a specific target, a specific person. By crook or hard, I need to get access to the Minister of Interior. Meanwhile, maybe there's a Minister of Education who is willing to listen to you. Meanwhile, there's a Minister for Youth Empowerment who is willing to listen to you. But no, you want to be, be seen, be affiliated, be heard that, hey, you are with the president. I know a girl who goes to events. She doesn't take anything away. The only thing she takes from this event is the fact that she takes pictures with this big man. Her status is always flowing with these pictures. And when you ask her, were you able to connect? She has nothing to say. Because for her, she's there for the picture's sake. And for me, if I don't take pictures, I'm there to connect. I barely take pictures. I'm like, oh, won't you take? I said, no, I know this person. Why should I go and take pictures? I mean, if you want pictures, you should also come and take pictures with me. One of the things we should also do as young people in this space is be proud of who you are. Know that you are an asset. If you don't believe in yourself and your willpower, nobody will believe in you. So you should know that, okay, I am the prize. I am the end game. I am the assets. Somebody said, what are we bringing to the table? I was telling a guy that, the guys will ask you, what are women bringing to the table? He came to ask me out and I said, okay, gentlemen, I am the table. So what are you bringing? Now this guy says, oh, Daisy, I'm bringing the legs. I said, well, I can't work with legs. You should know your worth. And then also, based on what you do, you should know where to go to. If you're dealing with children, you know that the Ministry for Gender, I don't know if you have it in your hometown, your country, is there. If you're dealing with climate change, you know Ministry of Energy, you should know the places to go to. And we are all open. The people I know on this platform, from Kofi to James, all the other people, I have not heard any of them push anybody away. Like I said, we all have one thing to change the African narrative that the Western side have had on for a long time. We want to tell our story our way. So I'll be shocked if any of them will push away. Even me, I'm available. I may not be in your hometown, we will not be together in your home country, but knowledge is dispersed from afar. When a farmer casts seeds, it goes all the way to even the next country, and then that is how come birds are able to plant trees, because they feed on the seeds and then they germinate it elsewhere. We're all available. Never feel like you're alone. We're here to help you and to help each other grow. One of the things I also want to say, as you're here, connect with each other. Check on each other's social. So this is where if you don't have a LinkedIn or you don't have an actual work profile or something, then you need to start creating one now. You should have a work profile by now. This is not when you tell me that follow me on Instagram or follow me on Facebook or follow me on TikTok. This is the time that you say, okay, there's Linktree, there's LinkedIn, all the business platforms. Oh, can you share your card with me? Your digital card. Can you follow me on LinkedIn? Can I get your LinkedIn something to follow? Then we'll rise, and together we are building the Africa that we want. I'm available. I'm sure anybody here is also available for you to reach out to. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Daisy. As a result of time, we'll only be able to take 2 more questions. So I would read this question from the chat box from Edison from Rwanda. This question is directed to you, Kingsley. The person says, why in Africa are there still young people who don't accept volunteerism as a source of resilience in Africa? As young African leaders, what can we do to help our young people? Mr. Kingsley, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Great. I understand young persons are disenchanted by the whole current trend of the pressure of trying to make it big and the illusion that this is what is happening, this is what is in vogue, everybody is making money, so they want to make money. They forget that without building a foundation, you cannot have a good structure. Regardless of what the pictures you have in your head, if you don't have a good foundation, it's going to crumble in your faces. So it's important for young people to know that first, before before going into volunteerism, they have to give themselves a goal, give themselves a measurable timeline. While I was volunteering, I had opportunities to take different roles, but I refused. I said I wanted to stick to a certain role because I knew that they were going to be a distraction. What we do most of the time is that we sign attendance in different organizations because we can. I mean, it is the same NGO space. We are doing the same thing. So we just want to be everywhere, have good CVs. But at the end of the day, there's no impact. When there is no measurable impact, it becomes like a burden. But when you are all soaked in doing what you love to do the most, and the feedbacks will come naturally, you will be glad that you did it. I don't know if I have been able to speak to um
Yes, thank you very much. And to take our final question, Grace, I see that your hand is raised. You can unmute yourself. And please
Thank you
be
so
very brief with your question. Thank you.
Yeah, I will. My question is also going to Mr. Kingsley. Volunteering, he talked about volunteering, I guess, yeah. So volunteering has always, most of the volunteering activities I've witnessed or I've heard of are always within some kind of society or within some kind of group, and they are confined in there, yet they would have like had more youth taking part in them, more people taking part in them. So my question is it always a problem of the administration of those groups, like the groups that are organizing the volunteering activities, and also what is better to give out to the community, the individual volunteering, the community volunteering? Yeah, kind of. Thank you.
okay, if I understand your question, you're asking how do you administer different groups of your volunteer force, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, how
Okay,
good to sensitize and how good to reach out to people because they end up getting confined within some community, some group only.
amazing, amazing. One thing that volunteering does is that it tests your limits. It allows you to explore different options, but you also have to be self-aware. You have to be aware of your own personality. That's why I always tell people, anybody that comes across me as in the space where I'm leading in my team, I always ask them to take the personality test. That way they know their true self. By knowing their true self, they can always dare themselves to do better. Then it comes to managing people. It is very difficult to manage people, especially young people, because there's a lot of ideas in their head and they always have this feeling of mine is the best. What you would do is communicate with clarity. You cannot lead without effectively communicating. You have to be able to communicate with clarity. Ensure that the roles that they delegated do not be at the fore of everything. Try to ensure that every other team members have one thing they are doing. That way, they feel carried along. When people carried along, that's how you build the community and the structure you are talking about. So, in a long run, they are able to now take over from where you stop, where you move on to higher callings. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, so as a result of time, we'll be unable to take any more questions. I want to believe that the rest of the questions will be answered on the WhatsApp group chat. However, you can stay tuned to AYLF's Instagram page or get more info. So can everyone
Please
please
turn
unmute?
off your
Can everyone
mic.
please mute their mics? Yes, please mute your mic. All right, thank you very much. So we have come to the end of today's session, and I think one thing I want to end this session with is what our keynote speaker talked about, because I think it wraps up what everyone else has discussed. And he said that if we are serious about making real impact, we must learn to ask critical questions, because curiosity creates creativity, and creativity leads to innovation, and innovation leads to solutions. And I would end that there. So this brings us to the end of the AYLF End of the Year Virtual Summit for today. Please know that the summit continues tomorrow at the same time, 3 p.m. GMT. We extend our sincere appreciation to all our keynote speakers and guest speakers, and to our partners, and to every participant who stayed with us today. Your presence and contributions made this session truly impactful. Thank you for being part of a summit that inspires young Africans to lead with purpose and drive real, lasting impact. We wish you a pleasant rest of the day, and we look forward to welcoming you back for the next session tomorrow. Thank you all.
Thank you all. Let's all show appreciation and love for our today's speaker with reaction. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and see you on the next summit tomorrow.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So everyone say thank you on your language.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for today's session. I think we'll continue tomorrow. Thank you. Good night for everyone.
And what been delivered.
Thank you, Marcos.